everyone, my name is Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a stillwater staple, the Chironomid. This one here is my absolute 100% first one on almost every time. You know how you always get set in your ways? Well, this is the one that I'm set in my ways. I've been tying this one for many years. I've seen a lot of people tie it. It's nothing special, but it's just one that I always put on, almost always put on first. So, and again, depends on the time of year. So let's switch over to the large camera. So this is a big hook. I usually wouldn't tie this large. I just wanted it this large for you guys. This is a Hook-Hends BL700 size 10. So usually I'll tie these in a 12 through 16, but this one would be good for like a bomber run on like Tonquah, that type of thing. So like I said, pretty simple pattern, fairly standard pattern. So I'm going to start off with some Semperfli Nanosilk. That's going to be the base of the body. Silver wire for rib, red wire for rib, so it's a double ribbed. And then up at the front, instead of using peacock herl, I love using peacock dubbing. So, okay, like I said, pretty simple. Just get your thread started. Go all the way back to where you want to stop. I'm going to stop this one between the point and the barb. So about there. Where's my scissors? Nip off my excess here. And obviously with chironomids, you want to keep them fairly thin. What I will do is build up just a little bit up here around the head, a bit of a taper. Just go back and forth a few times. These Nanosilks from Semperfli and a few of the other companies out there have similar products. They do take a bit to build up bodies because they're so thin, so strong, but so thin. So they do take a bit of time to build up if you want to build a taper like this. So, but patience, right? So just gonna give it a counterclockwise spin to flatten out my thread a bit. This time I'm gonna go all the way to the back. Again, where I stopped, and then forward one more time, touching wraps. And that should give me close enough to the taper I want. I mean, I could go more, obviously, but it's gonna go to there. Now, I'm not completely finished with that yet, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna lay in my silver rib on my side. And I'm gonna take the red rib. I'm going to turn my vise just so I can see. And I'm going to lay that down on your side. And then I'm going to try to keep them as well as I can on the two sides. Now I can tighten up. So that was not, I wouldn't say that was loose, but that was not cranked. Now I'm cranking it. I mean, I could probably bend this hook with, well, no, I know I can bend this hook with this Nanosilk. So again, I'm just going to make sure it's all covered nicely. None of the silver or red is poking through. Try to build up a bit more up here as well for the taper because it did kind of go away there with putting in the wire. Flatten my thread a little bit. So there. So now I'm just going to wrap my silver wire counterclockwise. Lock it down. Helicopter it off. Okay. Now I'm going to create a little bit of a red butt. Just going to go back 3 or 4 turns and then back over top of that. First little bit there can be a bugger sometimes to get back over top, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Whoops. Okay, and now I'm going to go right beside my silver rib. I want it to touch that silver rib all the way up. And at the top here, same thing, tie it off. This doesn't have to be too perfect up here because we're going to put a bit of a dubbing up here anyway, right? So helicopter off. Let's go back a little bit to the, roughly to where that last turn of red and silver is there. Get a little bit of this Arizona semi-seal in peacock. Not a lot of it. I don't need a lot. Just a little bit. I'm going to put some wax on my thread. And I'm just going to do a semi-loose dub here. I don't want it too loose, but I don't want it too tight either. I don't want to, like, I'm not doing body here. I want this a little bit loose because I want to be able to pull these legs out just a bit, right? So, and that's actually a little bit too much material. There we go. So, that's all I want. Just a hint of it up the front there. Okay, and I'm going to take my whip finisher. Now, normally, if I'm doing a bunch of these, what I would have done is tied it up to that last point before I added the dubbing, and I would have coated it with my UV resin or my Sally Hansen's or whatever you feel comfortable with, and then I would have put them back into there, tied on some black thread again, and just dubbed in a little bit of this. But I mean, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to take all this material, all these little leggies, and push them forward, just giving them a little bit of a fold forward there, because even these smaller little things that are sticking out so long here, I can cut these off because I will be, once I'm done with the coating, I can pull those out anyway. So then I'm going to take a little bit of Gulf Thinman, a little bit of the Gulf Thinman resin, and I'm just going to put a little bit on here. Like I said, normally I would do this when there is none of this stuff on, but just for video sakes, just going to show you. There's not a lot on there right now. I'm just going to go all the way around and push that forward right up there. Normally I would start at the front end with this. Again, right, not. And then I'm going to take my UV light and I'm going to hit it. Obviously, depending on your UV light, you want this 10 seconds to 30 seconds, depending on what kind of UV light you've got. This one here is not the greatest. I'm actually waiting for, got one of those little pencil, the real focused UV light things coming from Amazon. So this one does work, but it's just not the, not the greatest. So the ones that come in the kits with the Solares and the Loon and Semperfli's got one, and a bunch of others, they're quite a bit better. It's $1, like an Amazon knockoff. So there, that's pretty dry. So now I'll just take my, it's not perfect, but just going to take my dubbing brush and just pull out just a few of those fibers. I just want them to, just a few. That's it. That's it. That's actually a little bit too much. So, and like I said, normally I do this when there's no, I would have had it all dubbed already, right? So, sorry, coated, sorry. So yeah, so there, that's about it. Get a couple of those long buggers down there. So, yeah, and then there's probably a few that are stuck to it now because, like I said, I did it when I shouldn't have, but I wanted to make sure it was done so you guys can see. So that is the, that's the finished fly. That's, it's like I said, it's my go-to. I love the black with the silver and red rib. That's always has been my go-to. So, alrighty. Hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, give her a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys on the next tying video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please consider doing so. I'm trying to get 3 videos out a week. Other than that, let me know what you guys think. Let me know on the comments what you guys want to see. If there's anything in particular you want me to tie, I'll give her a shot. Tie lines, everyone.